Welcome to Read People Like a Book by Patrick King, your guide to unlocking the secrets of human nature. Imagine knowing what someone is feeling, thinking, or planning before they even speak. This isn't a superpower, it's a skill, and you can learn it. By learning to analyze emotions, intentions, and those tiny, subtle cues, you not only understand others on a deeper level, but you also start to understand yourself. So, let's dive in and explore how to read people like an open book, one step at a time. First up, what some call mind reading is actually just empathy and sharp observation. It's not supernatural. Every single interaction is packed with clues: a change in tone, a small gesture, a micro-behavior. People who seem gifted at this simply know where to look. When we learn to read others well, we build stronger connections, avoid unnecessary conflicts, and create genuine trust. As Patrick King puts it, understanding others allows us to communicate more effectively and, yes, even achieve our own goals more easily. Next, remember that context is everything. People aren't one-dimensional. They behave differently depending on the situation. A single rude comment doesn't automatically make someone a rude person. That coworker who blew past you in the hallway, they might just be completely overwhelmed with stress. To read people accurately, you have to let go of your initial assumptions. Look for patterns over time, not just isolated moments. Don't forget that cultural and situational contexts are huge factors. What's considered polite in one place might be deeply offensive in another. The key is to always stay curious, not judgmental. So, how do we identify someone's true motives? Every action has a reason, even if it's buried deep. The psychologist Carl Jung referred to this as the shadow self, the parts of ourselves we try to hide but that still drive our behavior. That person at work who can't stop bragging, maybe they're covering up a deep insecurity. Your quiet colleague? Perhaps they're just afraid of being judged. Patrick King also points to models like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the very bottom are our basic needs for survival and safety. Moving up, we have needs for belonging, self-esteem, and finally, a sense of purpose. If you can figure out where someone is on this pyramid, you'll have a much clearer picture of why they do what they do. Did you know that most of our communication is completely nonverbal? Silent expressions really do speak louder than words. Our gestures, posture, and facial expressions reveal what our words often try to hide. Macro expressions, like a big, genuine smile, can last for a few seconds. But micro expressions are tiny, split-second flashes of emotion that often betray our true feelings. Always watch for contradictions, like when someone says, "I'm fine," but their eyes are filled with sadness. Body language tells its own story. Two fidgeting hands, feet pointing toward the exit, or avoiding eye contact. Just remember, context is your compass. No single gesture ever tells the whole story on its own. Now, let's talk about personality frameworks. Like the Big Five and the MBTI, these can be useful tools for categorizing common traits. Is someone open to new experiences, or do they prefer the comfort of stability? Are they an extrovert who thrives in social settings, or an introvert who recharges in solitude? Understanding personality types isn't about putting people into neat little boxes. It's about helping you see the world from their perspective. Patrick King wisely reminds us that these tools are just guides. People are far too complex and are always changing. Sometimes we need to protect ourselves from being manipulated. Detecting lies isn't about magic either. It's about spotting breaks and patterns. There are 3 conditions that make spotting a lie a bit easier. First, you need to know the person's normal baseline behavior. Second, the conversation should be spontaneous, with no time for them to rehearse their story. And third, notice when the lie has real consequences, because that ramps up the stress. Watch for inconsistencies in their tone of voice, story details, and emotional displays. Lying puts a heavy load on the brain, so slip-ups are bound to happen. Ask gentle but strategic questions and just observe calmly. Be a detective, not an accuser. True understanding often comes from our intuition, a concept Patrick King calls thin slicing.
Ow.
Our brains are wired to make incredibly fast judgments based on tiny details: a certain tone of voice, quick glance, a specific word choice. And surprisingly often, those gut feelings are right on the money. Pay attention to the words people use. Constantly saying "I" or "mine" can reveal a big ego, while overly complex language might be a sign of insecurity. Even our homes and personal spaces tell stories about us. Clutter, perfect order, colors, and objects, they all whisper truths about a person's inner world. In the end, learning to read people isn't about gaining control or power. It's about building connection. To truly understand others, you need to combine logic, observation, and empathy. Watch, listen, and feel. Look for patterns, not just fleeting moments. And always balance your instincts with solid evidence. When you read people like a book, you're not just decoding their behavior. You're building bridges of compassion, trust, and authenticity. And that is what makes our relationships and our lives so deeply meaningful. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Patrick King's Read People Like a Book, hit that like button, subscribe for more summaries, and let me know your favorite insight in the comments below. Thanks for watching.